Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope everyone had a great Tuesday, last day of the month for February. We're getting into March. A couple of things have happened here in the markets today, which we're going to take a look at is S&P, Dow Jones, NASDAQ, Bitcoin, Ethereum. We're all down today, but on the other hand, some of the miners were actually up today, so that was a good thing. Another thing, Bitcoin is actually up for the month. It finished out just about half an hour ago. Turned into the new month. It is actually up just barely up, but we're up for the month. So it's 2 months in a row that we are up. And then we have other stories that we need to talk about, including Bitcoin heading possibly lower. There's some chart analysis on that. We'll take a look at that story. We also have Visa still moving forward with blockchain. So that's good there. We'll talk about that. And then we'll talk about Marathon. Marathon was supposed to report their, I believe their 10K, not 10K, 10K filing, which is now delayed because they got a note from the SEC that some of their numbers might be inaccurate. So we'll look at all that going on today. And then we'll pretty much call it a day. So that is going to be it for it. As always, you guys know the drill here, not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research. And I'm investing in following coins and companies for full disclosure. So let's take a look at the markets here and Bitcoin and see what's going on there. So the markets were down today. S&P was down 0.3% to 3,970. Dow Jones was down 0.71% to 32,656. NASDAQ was down 0.13% to 12,042. Bitcoin was down slightly today. It was down 1.47%. It closed at 23,145. We are kind of battling with the you could say the 20-day moving average on it right now, as we have been battling with the 200 weekly moving average, which is the red line up here, but we weren't able to go above it. We battled it, but we got rejected. So we've fallen since then. We did battle here a little bit with our support at 23,800. That didn't last long. We fell below it, and now we're battling with the 20-day moving average. I'm thinking we're possibly going to be going down a little bit more. There's still a little bit more room on the RSI to fall on the daily chart, so I think that's going to happen. And then if we look at the monthly chart here, we can see we have a barely visible green cross here on it, and we're up 0.07% on the month. We're up $16.46 on the month in February. So that is a good sign there. We were up in January quite nicely. In January, we're up almost 40%. We were at least flat in February, which is good. So we'll see how now March is going to play out, whether it's going to be a green month or a red month. More than likely, I would imagine it's going to be a green month possibly, but we might start out in the red, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's take a look at Bitcoin still here on the 1 hour chart. And we can see here that we have been battling with the 20-day moving average, which is right there. There's not much else going on here. I mean, our size isn't too bad right now. It's at 41. We're seeing the last time we were back here was over here. Price was actually about the same spot. So we are kind of trading sideways right now. Not much action going on in it. Let's take a look at Ethereum as well. Ethereum right now on the daily was down today, down 1.71% to 1,605. It has also been battling, looks like, the 20-day moving average on it as well. And the RSI is still kind of flat, going sideways right now. So we might start out the month going sideways both in Bitcoin and Ethereum. Possibly have a little bit of dip here. I would think if we dip, let's take a look at Bitcoin again. If we dip, we're possibly going to be going down to about 21,414 if that line doesn't hold. Well, then we're going down to about possibly somewhere in the 18,000 and 21,000 range. But we'll see where it ends up at, okay? Now, as far as the miners are concerned, well, a majority of them were up today. ANY was up today 2.68% to 42 cents. Argo was up today 8.28% to $1.70. BitDigital was up 2.44% to $1.26. Bitfarms was up 0.27% to 95 cents. Cypher was up 4.11% to $1.52. CleanSpark was down 1.43% to $2.76. Cores was up today 1.39% to 29 cents. DigiHost was down quite a bit here, down 14.58%. Some of you have asked me about why it's coming down here. Basically, with DigiHost, we had a huge run up here in the beginning of the month in January, pretty much all of January. If we look at it from the bottom where it started out and then where it ended up, it was up almost 618% for the month. So a little bit of a pullback and some profit taking is expected to happen, especially with Bitcoin being kind of flat for the month of February and not much else going on. People are just taking profits. That's all that's going on. There's no bad news going on there right now. It just had a huge run up in a very short amount of time, and people are just taking profits. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. DMG was up 1.35% to 23 cents. Greenidge was up 2.06% to 51 cents. Hive was up 2.89% to $2.85. Hot 8 was down 1.2% to $1.65. Iris Energy was up 1.09% to $2.77. Marathon was down 0.14% to $7.10. Mawson was up 0.4% to $2.51. Riot was up 3.99% to $6.25. Soluna was up 5.92% to 34 cents. And TeraWolf was up 2.56% to 64 cents. So nonetheless, Bitcoin was down today, but the miners for the most part were up, which is actually kind of nice to see. Okay, so let's get into our first story here, which is going to be on, oh, we almost forgot. Let's take a look at the network hash rate. Almost forgot to do that. So network hash rate has come down here on the 1-day average. It's back down to 299 million, still, still up there quite a bit, but it is down from our peak here of 359 million, which we reached a new all-time high on it. On the 7-day average, if we look at it, it has come back up a little bit here as well to 297 million right now on it. So it is going to continue to go up. Okay, first story, which is on Bitcoin and the risk of a deeper pullback toward 20,000 chart analysis. So they're going by the MACD and some other things in here, but here's a part that I want to go over really quick. We're not going to get too deep into it, but Bitcoin has turned lower from its 200-week simple moving average after facing rejection above the same for 2 consecutive weeks, which we talked about earlier. And it's true. We got basically rejected at that line and we couldn't muster the strength to go above it, so we're going down. The 50-week simple moving average has dropped below the 200 weekly simple moving average, producing what is known as the death cross, a bearish development. You can see that here on the 50, which is the red line over here. It has crossed over the gray line, which is the 200 weekly moving average, simple moving average. That, I guess, is the death cross that they call. Now, how far lower it's going to go, it's anybody's guess, but we'll find out in a couple of weeks. Okay. The expected price decline, however, would be a temporary bull breather, according to, I'm not going to be able to pronounce this name, by K. And I agree with that as well. I do think we need a little bit of a breather here. We've gone up 40% almost in January. February was a flat month, so we do need a little bit of pullback and a little bit of a breather. A pullback in Bitcoin to 21,500 would remain a correction within a bull market, but a sharp drop below that level could force a reassessment of whether we are out of the bear market case set as well. So we'll see how that's going to play out. I do think we might be going down a little bit lower in the short term, but overall, I think we're still in a bull trend going forward. Okay. So that's on Bitcoin right there. Next, Visa. Visa says it's slowing down plans for crypto products, or it's not slowing down, sorry. Visa says it's not slowing down plans for crypto products. The payments giant still wants to grow its digital asset department, according to the company's head of crypto. So that's good news. I think there was a story that came out either today or yesterday. It said MasterCard and Visa were slowing down, and they are kind of refuting that a little bit here. So payments company Visa has said it is not slowing down with its cryptocurrency plans, despite news reporting hinting otherwise amid a brutal bear market. And it was a brutal bear market in 2022. The U.S. company's head of crypto, Kai Sheffield, said in a series of tweets Tuesday that a Reuters story claiming that both Visa and MasterCard were slowing down their crypto push was inaccurate when it comes to Visa. So at least we know Visa is still moving forward with it. He added that despite the challenges and uncertainty in the crypto ecosystem, Visa believes that fiat-backed digital currencies running on the public blockchains have the potential to play an important role in the payment ecosystems. I think they're spot on this one. So they definitely want to be in the game here. And Visa has been working with crypto space for some time, but things have slowed down as of late. In November, it ended its global credit card agreements with failed cryptocurrency exchange, FTX. Well, they went belly up. That makes sense. And then Visa also has filed new trademark applications back in October, which hinted at potential plans for crypto wallet and Metaverse products. Now, I don't know how Metaverse is going to play out here going forward, but we'll see. And then Vice spokesperson told Decrypt, recent high-profile failures in the crypto sector are an important reminder that we have a long way to go before crypto becomes a part of mainstream payments and financial services. And I agree with that as well. These kind of pullbacks that we have are, I think, healthy. Kind of gets rid of the these companies that have gone too far in leveraging themselves in this market, or actually in the bear market that we had. Prior to that, they were leveraged to the teeth with everything else. So with them being out, I think it cleans the market for the better, and it's going to only propel Bitcoin and blockchain all the more going forward. Now, as far as Visa getting into blockchain, which is fine, but the Metaverse, I mean, you saw what happened with Facebook stock in the Metaverse. They spent billions of dollars on it, and it was a pretty big waste. Don't know how well that's going to play out going forward, especially I don't know how many people are going to want to have these huge things on their head getting into the Metaverse and getting in there. I mean, I could see it on the browser or something like that, but in general, I think that was just overhyped a little bit, and that's going to probably cool down a little bit as we go forward, but we'll see. That's just my thoughts on that one. Okay, so next story here. Next story is on Marathon. So Marathon was supposed to provide their 10K filing today, I believe it was. So I was planning on going over that information that we do have for it. Obviously, that didn't pan out. We do have this report now that was filed with the SEC that they are going to be delayed on it. And the reasons for it are in this Form 8K filing. So here's what is stated on here. So non-reliance on previously issued financial statements or a related audit report or completed interim review. Okay. On February 22nd, 2023, Marathon Digital Holdings, Inc. received a comment letter from the corporation finance staff of the Securities and Exchange Commission relating to, among other things, certain accounting matters as described further below. Okay, so they got a letter on the 22nd, it's now the 27th, so they were obviously going over the documents. On February 27th, 2023, the company's audit committee of the board of directors, after consulting with Marcum LLP, the company's independent auditor, concluded that due to certain accounting errors as described below, the previously issued audited consolidated financial statements containing in the company's annual report on Form 10K for the fiscal year ended in December 31st, 2021, and the previously issued unaudited condensed consolidated financial statements for the interim periods in 2022 and 2021 as contained in the company's quarterly results on Form 10Q for the fiscal periods ended March 31st, 2021 and 2022, June 30th, 2021 and 2022, and September 30th, 2021 and 2022. The impacted financial statements should no longer be relied upon. Similarly, related earnings releases and other financial communications for these periods should no longer be relied upon as well. Okay. So that's a lot. I mean, you got 2 years worth of financial information that has to be corrected because of an accounting error. And let's take a look what that accounting error was. There was actually 2 in there. So among the restatements issues are, so the first one is impairment of digital assets. The company's digital assets, Bitcoin, are indefinite lived intangible assets within the scope of the FASB ASC 350. If you understand this, you're better than me. So intangible assets, goodwill, and other ASC 350, and as such, are subject to impairment testing on an annual basis or more frequently if events or changes in circumstances indicate it is more likely than not that the asset is impaired in accordance with ASC 350-30-35-18. Okay, that's a lot of financial jargon there. Based on Bitcoin, I guess they should have been doing it more often, but they also provide some more information down here. So let's take a look at it here. The company recently determined that its method of calculating impairment on a daily basis using a standard cutoff time was not in compliance with the ASC 350-30-35-19 requirement to recognize impairment whenever carrying value exceeds fair value, which effectively calls for the intraday low price to be utilized in calculating impairment whenever events or changes in circumstances indicate it more likely than not than the asset is impaired. Okay, that's a lot of stuff in there. But the way I understand it is, and correct me if I'm wrong on this, I'm not a financial analyst or a financial guy at all. So the way I understand it is they were using at a certain time, whether it was at the close of the markets at 3 o'clock, when the regular markets closed, whatever the price they were using for Bitcoin at that time was the inaccurate price for using the accounting method here. They were supposed to use the intraday low price for it. But since Bitcoin is basically traded 24 hours a day, do you use that 24-hour time frame and look for the low in that and use that? I don't know. That could be the case here instead of using a determined time. So that's one of the things. So I don't think this is going to be a big deal there. I think there's going to be some write-downs on it, but not much. And then the other one was operation of a Bitcoin mining pool that included third-party participants. So in late 2021 and early 2022, the company operated a Bitcoin mining pool that included a small number of unrelated third-party participants. So other companies that were mining on their pool. The company accounts for revenues based on ASC Topic 606, revenue from contracts with customers, and had determined that in its capacity as the operator of the mining pool that included third parties, it acted as an agent. As a result, the company recorded revenues on a net basis, subtracting any revenue allocated to the third-party pool participants from its revenues as the operated pool. Okay, so on that one, I think I understand it a little bit better. So whatever they were working as a pool together, Marathon plus their customers that were on that pool as well, whatever their customers' proceeds of Bitcoin were, let's say they mined 100 Bitcoin, 10 Bitcoin was for the customers. They would report only having mined 90 Bitcoin on that. And I believe using that 10 Bitcoin as an agent, I guess, they would record that as net instead of gross. Okay. So that's kind of the way I understand that one. And going down here, the company recently determined that its assessment that it acted as an agent in operating the third-party mining pool was incorrect and that it should have concluded that it was acting as a principal in its capacity as a pool operator. So the effect of this change from agent to principal is that the company should have recorded revenue from the pool on a gross basis with an offsetting cost of revenue to reflect amounts allocated to the third-party participants. So like I said, they should have reported the whole 100 BTC being mined and then taken out the Bitcoin that was given to the customers, the 10 BTC, as cost of revenue basically on that one. Okay, continuing on here, the company estimates that both its revenues and its cost of revenues for the year ended December 31st, 2021 were understated due to the net versus gross presentation of revenues in its financial statements. As a result, both revenues and cost of revenues, energy, hosting, and other are expected to increase upon completion of the restatement for 2021. There will also be a minor increase to revenues and cost of revenues, energy, hosting, and others in previously issued interim financial statements in both 2021 and 2022. Okay, that's fine. And then the restatement of the impacted financial statements is not expected to have any impact on total margin, operating income, or net income in 2021 or in any of the interim periods in 2021 or 2022. The company no longer operates a pool that includes the third party. So that's pretty clear and dry there. I think that's going to be easy enough. They're just using net. They're going to use gross. They're going to add other expenses to that as well. That's going to offset any of the income reported on it. So it's going to be basically a wash on that, I think. So that shouldn't be a problem. The other one that we have here is on the impairment of digital assets. Not sure how that's going to work out, where they're going to have to go back through and see what the intraday low was for Bitcoin. That may actually give them a lower valuation or bigger impairment on that part of it. I don't think this is a big deal. It's unfortunate that this came out now. It's good that they found it, and going forward, I think this won't be an issue, but this is possibly going to take some time for them to clean up, and they're going to have to re-report a lot of the 10Ks and the 10Qs as well. So it's going to take time. But other than that, it's not a big deal. It's just a delay in it. So we'll see when they actually do report their 10K for the end of December 31st of 2022. That might be out a week, 2 weeks, don't know on that one. All right, so that's it. We're into the next month. Tomorrow is March now. So the miners should start reporting their production updates for February, which is great. We'll have some news on what's going on there. And we'll see where Bitcoin goes. Everything else is going to be a little bit longer month. So February was a short month. We're expecting the miners to be down a little bit on production, which is normal this time of the year. Okay, that's it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a wonderful evening. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye.